After a slew of mid-range launches, Motorola has finally decided to bring out the big guns. Meet the Motorola Edge 30 Pro, their latest flagship offering. Now this is kind of sort of similar to the X30 that launched in China a little while back, but they've gone ahead and made a few notable changes. Now, you know what? Let's first get that unboxing out of the way and then take a close look at what Motorola is offering with their latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 toting flagship smartphone. My name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see here, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. Let's get started. So this here's the box the Edge 30 Pro comes in. Pretty standard Moto. Inside we have the Edge 30 Pro itself in its soft case, very similar to what we've seen Moto do with their budget phones. I kind of wish they've gone with flashier presentation and packaging for this one since it's a flagship. Anyways, moving on, the insert here, it houses a SIM tool alongside a quick start guide, and that's followed by a USB Type-C cable with orange accents and a 68-watt turbo power charger. Not 89, but 68. Now the Edge 30 Pro has a 4800 mAh battery on the inside, and Moto claims it can be charged from 0 to 50 in just 15 minutes. On top of it, this one even has wireless charging 15 watts and reverse wireless charging up to 5 watts. Despite the presence of a 4800 mAh battery, the 30 Pro, it weighs in at around 195 grams. It's 8.79 millimeters thick. While Motorola's marketing might say no camera hump, there is, but they've done something quite intelligent by curving it ever so gradually. This means even though the camera protrudes a little bit, the phone doesn't wobble quite as much as it regularly would when you put it down on a flat surface. I really like what they've done here. Now other placements include the secondary noise cancelling mic up top, beat it up, the sides here are plastic, there's nothing to the left, the USB Type-C port, the primary speaker and microphone, they're present at the bottom alongside the SIM tray. This one accepts two 5G SIMs, no microSD support, there is support for 13 5G bands, so Moto continues to do well on that front. Now look closer and you can see a rubber grommet. That's because the Edge 30 Pro has IP52 certification, so it should be fine in a drizzle. To the right is where we have the power and volume keys, and this I feel might be an issue for some people because this power key also doubles as a fingerprint scanner, and the positioning, it's a little too high, so a little bit of finger gymnastics to actually reach it. But to me, I see the silver lining here, I actually like it. This is gonna be my go-to when using a clip-on controller. Generally when I do this, the setup feels very unstable due to the uneven spread of weight to avoid the clip pressing the power key. But with this phone, given the power key is kinda a little too high, that shouldn't be an issue. Again, not justifying the placements, just the silver lining I managed to see. Guys, to be frank, I'm not a huge fan of this design. Now, don't get me wrong, it is pretty effective. The Gorilla Glass 5 covered back, it reflects light well, but this is a flagship phone, and just like with the packaging, I feel they could have gone for something a little flashier. This Cosmos Blue Edge 30 Pro, it feels a little too subdued. I mean, there is a Stardust white option, which in my humble opinion looks a lot better, but I'd have loved to see Moto go a little out of their comfort zones and go with something like a sky blue or yellow or orange to match the accents on the cables or something like that. That would have kind of set this phone apart from the rest of the G lineup. Over here, this blue in particular, it kind of reminds me of the Moto G phones a lot. Given those are all mid-ranges and this is an out-and-out flagship, I don't think that's a good thing. Anyways, on this back right here, we find a triple camera array. The primary is a 50 megapixel sensor paired with an optically stabilized f1.9 lens. The images, they seem promising, they're rich, there's a lot of detail. There is a little bit of a color difference between this and the secondary ultra-wide, which again happens to be a 50 megapixel sensor, one that's paired with a f2.2 lens, though one with a 114-degree field of view. This one comes with autofocus, so you can shoot macro shots with the ultra-wide camera. Now the third camera is just a depth sensor there to make up numbers. With video, you can shoot up to 8K footage at 30 FPS, but weirdly 4K is also restricted to 30 FPS. I have reached out to Motorola on clarification on this, so maybe they do provide 4K 60 with a future update. Whatever I get to know, I will let you know via the description below or in a pinned comment. From a software perspective, a lot of favorites like spot color, cinematograph, and dual capture are present and accounted for. With selfies, we get a 60 megapixel f2.2. The results are detailed and it also does well with skin tones. Additionally, I really love how by default beauty mode is off on this phone. Moving on, let's talk internals, and this is yet another area that Motorola has absolutely nailed. Given this is an out-and-out flagship, it comes powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the latest flagship chip. It's paired with 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM and 128 gigs of super fast UFS 3.1 storage. Well, yes, there are other phones launching with the same SoC. There is one thing Motorola does really well that most of the competition cannot compete against, and that's software. This here is almost stock Android 12. While yes, Motorola have added a few of their own tweaks here and there, the software experience has largely been left untouched. It feels very pixel-esque. Of course, fan favorites like Chop Chop and Twist to turn on the camera, all that is present and accounted for. Motorola has also added a few extras like tap this power key here twice and it causes the sidebar to pop up. You can use this to easily switch to another app without having to come back to the home screen. We then have Ready for 3.0, which is an entire video by itself. Let me know if you'd like to see a dedicated video on it. We then have Game Time, which lets you change a lot of settings on the fly whilst playing a game. Talking about gaming, the experience was very comfortable and the performance is no surprise given the innards. Performance though isn't everything. You need a good display and audio to have a great gaming experience, right? And the Edge 30 Pro, it does offer both. The earpiece here, it doubles as a speaker, making for a stereo experience. One that's been tuned by Dolby nonetheless. The display, it also happens to be top-notch. It's a 10-bit OLED panel with a 144Hz refresh rate. This one also happens to be covered by Corning's Gorilla Glass 3 for protection. From an update perspective, Motorola is promising 3 years of security patches with guaranteed updates to Android 13 and 14. So that's pretty decent. Now guys, Motorola has done a lot of things well with this phone, but this happens to be the selling point for me. The user experience. With OnePlus's migration to ColorOS, I feel there's a vacuum that's been created in the whole stockish interface, super high performance segment. And I think this is the void that Motorola is trying to fill with the Moto Edge 30 Pro. And I think they're doing pretty well. At least initial impressions, this phone seems to be one hell of a deal. They've priced it at 50,000 rupees. They're offering a 5,000 rupee cashback or instant discount depending on where you're buying it from, making the effective price, at least as of right now, 45,000. Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 with all these goodies, 144Hz, OLED panel, all that for 45,000 rupees seems to be an excellent offering on paper. But then again, I'm going to have to spend more time with it before I can confirm it, and I'll have more to say in the full review. Currently, I'm testing the iQOO 9 Pro, just like you guys asked. So the moment I'm done with testing that and that review is out, I'll swap my SIM on over to the Moto Edge 30 Pro. And hey, if there's anything in particular that you want me to address in the full review, leave it in a comment below and I will try to address it in the video. So I guess that's pretty much it for this quick little unboxing and hands-on video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.